Talk about an unseasonably hot day across central Oregon. These temperatures that we had, it's still hot right now. And we are sitting at about 5:42 p.m. on this Thursday. And high temperatures during the peak heating of this afternoon were in the mid to upper 90s, even 103 degrees in Warm Springs. Now, the next couple of days, a big shift in our weather pattern is going to begin on Friday. This shift is because of a weak system that's going to be rolling inland and impacting us just a little bit, but it also brings a huge drop in temperatures. Between now and then, though, we will be getting back into the 80s, but between now and then, there is a chance of some thunderstorms through the day tomorrow. Most of that thunderstorm potential is going to be on the other side of the Cascades and through the mountains, but there's still going to be a chance. So just to tidy this up, looking at record high temperatures for this Thursday, August 20th, today we got up to 97 degrees in Bend, Redmond, and Madras. Both Bend and Madras got close to tying a record high set back in 2009 for Bend and 1977 for Madras, just not quite there. And we're still waiting on some final numbers. So one of or both of them could actually get up to tying or breaking a record. But remember how I mentioned that there is a big system that's going to be rolling through, not particularly a strong system, but one that is actually going to bring a big dip in temperatures. We can barely make it out showing up on satellite. Now, this is infrared satellite imagery and this elongated area of low pressure. That's what we're looking at, and that's actually going to move inland into just through the Olympic Peninsula, the center circulation, and into BC, Canada, but it's still going to be impacting us down here in Central Oregon, 6 hours away, because through the next couple of days, we've already started to see increasing clouds. We're actually expecting an increase in upper level moisture, and that's why we've had some of this cloud cover. Not too much in the way of rain, but on the back side of this whole system, we're back down into the 80s. So let's go ahead and start the tour looking at cameras across Central Oregon. There are several cameras that still have a lot of smoke in them, so we are not done with that just yet. And some of these cameras are showing a mixture of sunshine and clouds. Others are showing clouds, some smoke, and a little bit of blue. And even looking at the Oregon Hazard Labs camera, that whole network, there's about 12 cameras in and around Central Oregon. This is just 4 of them, and none of them are really showing any smoke plumes. However, they are showing that smoke, particulate matter in the air. And as of right now, the hourly average for most of the high desert is moderate air quality. There's a little bit of Jefferson County that's unhealthy for sensitive groups, and a couple of sensors in the same area coming as far south as near Terrebonne that are unhealthy for sensitive groups. Now, we're looking at one more air quality one, but this is a time lapse starting at 7 a.m. when we actually had pockets of some poor air quality through the day, but for the most part, it hasn't been too bad. We've been able to see the smoke. We've been able to smell it in some cases, but for the most part, it's been good to moderate air quality for most of Central Oregon. Now, a lot of the real-time sensors, specifically those, those purple air sensors, were showing areas and periods of either unhealthy or very unhealthy air quality, and there is still an air quality alert that's in place until noon Friday. This is in place for Hood River County, Wasco County, Jefferson County, and Crook County. And this is all because of nearby fires that continue to burn in and around Central Oregon. And the one that's putting most smoke into Central Oregon is the Austin Fire. Now, the Austin Fire is located just to the southwest of Mount Hood, but just to the east of Hood, we also have the Grasshopper Fire and a few more in and around Central Oregon, including the Roe Creek complex. And all of those, we're continuing to track the smoke coming out of them. And here through the next couple of days, each night that smoke thickens up. Each day we start off with areas of poor air quality. That smoke lifts up. We can still see it, but it's not quite out of here. Even on Friday, when we still have that chance of some showers, a few thunderstorms possible, it doesn't really clear out all of this smoke. However, by Saturday, with winds picking up, not only do we have this fire weather watch, which will probably become a red flag warning, but we also have a lot of this smoke actually clearing out. So that is some good news. Now, satellite and radar does just show some clouds. It shows no precipitation in sight. Even when we look at the bigger picture, the closest is just a few light showers near Pocatello. Now, we are going to get even further into this, especially with that chance of thunderstorm activity, but I did want to pull a couple things in here and just talk about this real quick, because we do have a few more weather alerts in the forecast, including a fire weather watch on Saturday, and that's for most of Central Oregon, not everybody, but until 9 p.m. on Friday. Tomorrow to our south, mostly Klamath, a little bit of Lake counties. we are looking at a red flag warning in that same area, and that's because of the potential of thunderstorm activity. Meanwhile, we also have this heat advisory until 10 p.m. Friday, highs potentially reaching 95 to 105, and we definitely got that today. Now, let's talk about the potential for thunderstorm activity. Tomorrow, you've actually seen this graphic a lot on social media if you like to scroll through a lot of things. Now, this doesn't paint the whole picture. It's a good one that you can just look at, see where there's a risk of thunderstorms, and then dig in a little bit deeper. So we are going to do just that. We're going to dig in a little deeper, but I wanted to start off by saying the entire area of Central Oregon is not expecting a thunderstorm outbreak. This entire area is where the potential for some thunderstorms is going to be there. And then by Saturday, that clears out completely, and the chance of thunderstorms is still over Washington, the Olympic Peninsula, all the way through Spokane, and there's a marginal risk of severe weather for Idaho and Montana. But let's come back closer to home, though, because between now and Saturday at 11 p.m., most of this happening Friday and Friday night. Some showers are expected with the potential of a few thunderstorms. Let's talk about that thunderstorm potential. What I'm about to show you is a forecast model product we typically do not use on air. And what we typically use it for is the forecasting process itself. This is called CAPE, Convective Available Potential Energy, and it really helps us understand where that potential storm energy is. Now, if you look at the legend way up in the top left corner, when you're between blue and that pale yellow green color, it's low. When you're getting into the oranges almost to the reds, it's moderate, and when you're getting into the reds and pinks, it's high potential of storm energy. And so when we set this into motion, what we're seeing is that between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. we have this potential for some thunderstorms. You can see those greens, those blues, not to be confused with simulated radar, what I typically show for forecast models. And this is showing low potential for thunderstorm activity going all the way through 9 o'clock. Now, it does cover most of Central Oregon, and we were going to look at this really closely. There's only one spot near Crescent in the Cascades that even has a yellow color, and that's where you're getting into that moderate potential storm energy. So we're actually staying pretty low when it comes to this. The biggest threat that we're going to have, the biggest risk, is going to be the potential for dry thunderstorm activity. So let's go ahead and talk about just how dry it is. Relative humidity values for the last couple of days have been in the teens and single digits. As of right now, water vapor imagery does show some clouds overhead, but closer to the surface, we have this very dry air mass, part of all this area that you see with that yellow going through northern Oregon and most of Washington. That critically dry air mass is still overhead. So here through this evening, we're not looking at much more than just a few more clouds overhead. Keep in mind, this is a high resolution forecast model. I'm going to show you several of them through the next couple of minutes, but this one shows that by the time we get to Friday, there's a chance for a few showers to pop up. Notice they were few, they were far between, then we are back to clearing. What's important to take away from this is we're not looking at a washout. This is not a moisture-rich system. This is actually a moisture-starved system. There's a lack of moisture within it, and it's actually just going to bring us in and out clouds, stronger winds, and very dry conditions. There's just a chance of some showers, and any showers that develop, we're going to be tracking for the potential of thunderstorm activity. Meanwhile, look at this. Relative humidity right now in the low teens. And there were a few single digits on the map earlier that just aren't anymore, and already we're still running between 2 and 5 degrees warmer than 24 hours ago. As of right now, we still have 103 in Warm Springs. We still have mid to upper 90s for a lot of Central Oregon, and the higher elevations, upper 80s and lower 90s. Tonight, we're only getting into the 60s, so that means dew point's going to be a little higher as well, and that typically you'd say that means better in the way of moisture, but in reality, it's still super dry. What we do know is that when dew point gets around 50 to 55 degrees, that's when we start to think of that as thunderstorm potential, thunderstorm fuel, if you will. It's just not getting that high. By tomorrow, 90s with a few 80s out there. And our UV intensity forecast is going to be high, just not very high like it typically is because of the additional cloud cover. Now, we do have a chance for some PM storms, but look at this. Just one of the forecast models says little to no precipitation between now and Sunday at 11 p.m. But there will be a big dip in temperatures. We're keeping some of this smoke until winds crank up on Saturday, and then temperatures come back down into the lower to mid 80s briefly, but long enough for a pleasant Sunday. So half of this weekend is going to be super nice. Now, when it comes to your forecast model, it actually shows that by the time we get to Friday afternoon, there's only a chance of a few showers, but any showers that develop are going to be tracking for thunderstorm potential. I've said that over and over again, and I mean it each time I say it, because I don't think we're going to get widespread thunderstorms. I don't think a lot of us are going to get meaningful rain, but there is a chance of some lightning. Now, by Saturday, we're back to more sunshine. It's going to be gusty. By Sunday, back to a light breeze. Very little in the way of cloud cover, no rain in sight between now and 5 p.m. on Wednesday. Some of us don't even get, many of us don't even get wet across Central Oregon. And as of right now, gusts aren't too impressive. We're looking at actual gusts between 10 and 15 miles per hour, some near 20. Actual wind speeds, more like 10 to 15 miles per hour. Also, so not too impressive the next couple of hours. It will become a little on the breezy side, and then by Friday, not too bad at all, unless a thunderstorm develops. Around that thunderstorm, we're looking at stronger winds, and then by Saturday, breezing conditions are expected. So for tonight, we're looking at 60s with a few 50s and 40s out there. By tomorrow, 90s for most of the high desert, a few 80s expected in the higher elevations, getting on the east slopes of the Cascades. And your 7-day planner shows that after we bring the heat for one more day, winds are going to be gusty at times. Smoke sticks around until wind speeds really kick up on Saturday, and then we get our clearing. After that, we go from the low to mid 80s back into the mid to upper 80s with some 90s. So roller coaster temperatures continue. Just moisture starved systems rolling through, not really bringing any potential for any showers or any much needed rainfall. We have one more round of the 90s, and it's going to be dry. Friday starts the pattern flip, and weekend relief is on the way. We're talking temperatures that aren't going to be nearly as hot, and as of right now, there's no rain in sight. That's the latest in weather. Join us tonight on Central Oregon Daily News. We'll have the latest headlines and the rest of your most reliable forecast. Another look at your most reliable forecast. We'll see you then.